Time for another stock review. This time we are talking Bavarian Nordic, ticker symbol BVNRY. I'm not showing it on my Robinhood because it's not available on Robinhood, so there's limited information that I am able to share with the way I present these reviews, but I will do the very best I can. This is one now related to the MPOX vaccinations. Of course, we covered some news about this the other day. Is it a good time to buy? So we're going back to the laboratory today and we're going to look at biopharmaceutical stocks. Now, any of these stocks are extremely risky because as explosive as they can be, if we do get a breakthrough on medicines, scientific breakthroughs, we suddenly find the cure for cancer or whatever it might be, money can be made very, very quickly, but things can go very, very sour very, very quickly as well. Very expensive businesses to invest in, requires lots of money, lots of things to go right, and lots of things can go wrong very, very quickly. Now, in this review, if you like these reviews, please consider tapping the like button. I am going to do an extensive review. Remember, I don't own the stock. I only own the S&P. This is my position. I'm now just under to $112,000, very close to an all-time high. You can see my position there. I only own the S&P, so you know I don't pump and dump the stock. But over this review, I'm going to show you lots of information so you can make an informed decision whether it's right for you to buy the stock. I'm going to share with you the intrinsic valuation. I'm going to share with you the financials, the balance sheet, the margins of the company, how much debt they have, who's buying on the inside, who's selling on the inside. I'm also going to share with you some fellow analysis, how they see the stock. We're also going to show you how it compares to the S&P. Performed very well, actually, over time. I'll share that with you. Briefly show you the latest price action. If you are looking to get detailed price action, join Sensei on Sunday. I'll give you the link for that. If you're a member of our channel, he will do a chart for you to show you the buy zone, sell zone, support levels from the chart perspective. I'm doing the fundamentals, the news analysis. He will provide you the buy zones using the technicals on the charts. Looking at the latest news, what's going on with MPOX, and we'll also take a look at the website and see what they say about themselves as well, and some latest news that's just out a couple of days ago when I made this video. All right, so let's get straight into it. As I say, when it's not available on Robinhood, I don't do my normal look of the review. It's a different one. The information I have is not as available, so I do things slightly different. So let's start with the intrinsic valuation of this stock. Let's start with that, shall we? And I use Alpha Spread for this. If you want the information of how to use my software, all my members get special deals. I know the CEO of Alpha Spread. That's in the chat for you right now as I'm making this live. It'll also be below the video and link to the video as well. All right, in the comments and so on and so forth. We've got a valuation here, which is looks pretty accurate. There's no warnings of overvalued by 23%. Worst case scenario, it's overvalued by 36%. Best case scenario, overvalued by 1%. Well, obviously, this is a growth stock. If we get an explosion, of course we hope we don't, an explosion of MPOX and we need more vaccinations, obviously this company, if it's successful, could do extremely well. So it's a growth stock, and I'm prepared to pay over 25%, I'm prepared to pay up to 25% overvaluation for a stock, and this is 21, so we're okay there for a stock that can grow into its stock price. So I'm okay with the valuation so far. Okay, valuations are based upon all the fundamentals, the balance sheets, the profits, and all the rest of it. If we look at the revenue, the latest figures we have here is March 30th. We have 6.6 revenue, down 6%, 6.6 billion. We don't have any recent figures. After that, it's analysis, and we don't have that available to us yet, just estimates. But as you can see, the profit, the revenue is slightly down, but we were with what could happen, and we'll cover the news in a minute, what could happen with MPOX could drive this up. But of course, we don't want that to happen, but as investors, kind of do. It's kind of strange, isn't it? Anyway, there it is. Operating income. Let's look at their operating income in the business. It's down 53%. Net income is down 33%. Financing cash flow is down 81%. Investing cash flow is up 146%. Operating cash flow, which is a positive, is up 58%. Let's scroll down and look at the balance sheet. The balance sheet is showing us 13.6 billion in assets. And I don't like to see a too rich cash business. It's okay. It's okay if we can have, we want cash on the balance sheet, but we don't want piles and piles of cash without it being invested. In other words, we're just investing in a pile of cash while I can just put my own cash in the bank and earn money. I don't buy businesses that are just not investing and making money from their cash, just simply holding cash. It's 13.6 billion in assets. 2.3 billion in cash. That's a nice balance. What's their debt position? 3.4 billion liabilities. That's good percentage of their assets. Long-term debt, 407 million. So very, very nice balance sheet. That's what we do. We look at the fundamentals of a business. The business is healthy. It has assets, it has cash, it has enough cash to pay off its long-term debt, it has very small debt comparison to its assets. If we look at its long-term debt, it fits in there, look, at 11%. So as you can see there, there's no issue here with the balance sheet. This is going to be a good balance sheet, which means the business is not going anywhere anytime soon. What about its margins? Gross margin, 61%. 61% is the gross margin. Operating margin, 15%. So we are making money. 15% net margin. FCF margin, 15%. All moving up. Good. ROCE is 9%. ROIC 10%. If you want full definitions of these, you can get them by using my software, and you can see the full definition of these. I'm assuming you know, because I do reviews every day, but if you don't, you can get these definitions from using my software, which you can access for free as a member of my channel. ROA 7% and 10% ROE. Let's scroll down and look at the profitability. Now, profitability of this company is 47%. It's good. It's good. Not the best. It's not a tech company, but of course, a pharmaceutical company's profits can be extremely high when things go well. Absolutely right. 47% at the moment. I doubt if there's any reflection of MPOX in their numbers. They won't be. So this could massively improve. What about their balance sheet? Well, like I just said, we're giving it a score of 89%. There's no doubt about the business. It's very well funded and managed. It's running its debts properly. It's got a good position there. This balance sheet is good. That's what you're buying. You're buying the business. The business is solid. It's not going bankrupt. It's going to be around and do its thing. Okay, Wall Street targets. Well, we've got a 49% downside from here. It got overbought, of course, overexcited because of when the MPOX announcement came out. All these stocks rallied. We saw it. We talked about it, and we said that perhaps you should wait for a pullback. There were several MPOX businesses. You might want to go and check my past reviews, and you can see the other ones I've done. So we are expecting worst case scenario, 49% downside. However, are we in a worst case scenario? No, we're not. We're right now. We've got interest rates coming down. We've got a strong economy, booming economy. AI is about to do well, even though Nvidia just sold off. The earnings was good. Everything is fine with the economy. We're in a bull market. We're expecting the S&P to 3x in 6 years. I beg your pardon. So obviously for the business itself, interest rates coming down will benefit them from their debt position. But of course, MPOX at the moment could drive up profits 21% on average, which will outperform the S&P. 129% is even better for the highest forecast. And this could increase, of course, with the accelerant of MPOX. But this is not the only thing this company does, of course. What about short interest? None at all. This stock isn't getting that much attention online. Remember, short interest does tend to come from, what can I say? Not the best circles. Perhaps, places like Reddit, certain dark rooms of the internet, people will find stocks to short. It's not getting any attention. It's not getting any media attention at the moment. We'll probably rank number one for this stock. And if my review is bullish, which so far it is, this will do well. This video will do well, and the stock will probably go up. Not because we can influence stock, but it's because our video will trend. No one's talking about it. No short interest. So don't expect a short squeeze, and don't expect any downward pressure either. We do have this. Now, this is quite recent. So this is the CEO. So it's worth playing to you. It's only a couple of weeks old. So I'm going to actually use this. Here we go. This is CEO.
Situation in Africa. And of course, it's of international concern because we've learned our lessons from COVID and the previous MPOX outbreak in 22. That, outbreaks don't just stay isolated in different regions of the world. So we have to do whatever we can to contain what is happening in Africa. The latest data that we've submitted actually is really, really important because hopefully it will extend the use of our vaccine down to adolescents, as you said. And more than 70% of the cases in Africa currently are in people younger than 18. So it's going to be critical that our vaccine can be used in this younger age group.
Yeah, I just wanted to run through just some of the symptoms. We haven't really spoken about MPOX then specifically on this show, and just wanted to speak to a few of our viewers as well, just with regards to some of the symptoms for MPOX, including fever, chills, swollen lymph nodes, exhaustion, muscle aches, and even backache, headache, respiratory symptoms. The incubation period here is still 3 to 17.
I don't think we'll carry on with that. We don't need to know about MPOX. We just need to know the CEO is acting on it. We've just covered that. So let me now share some information with you. If you like this so far, please tap the like button and consider subscribing. Let's go and have a look now at some numbers around the stock. Now, this is a growth stock. There's no dividend payout here, but let me share with you. If you bought back in 2015, Bavarian Nordic, and you also bought the S&P 500 and reinvested your dividends, $10,000 on the S&P would have given you $31,000. That's in the green line, $31,000. So you'd have had a 3x on the S&P. You're very happy with that. However, Nordic, you would have nearly a 4x. 38, nearly 39,000. So you'd have outperformed the S&P. As you can see, it's a lot more volatile. It's in the blue line. It pops up and goes down, but it's staying above the S&P. So what this tells me straight away, like I said, it's a good run business. It's got a good balance sheet. It's got a good debt position. It's got good management. It's got good structure. And we're going to have more outbreaks like this in the future. This company are on top of it, obviously. It's potentially a trading stock, but maybe even a long-term investment stock, because since 2015, over 9 years, it's outperformed the S&P. That's very, very good. Very, very good for this kind of stock, or any stock actually. But also you can get these trading, these massive rallies. So you can buy it here, sell it here, let it just fall back to the level of the S&P, and buy it again, and it keeps seeming to do that. So you could measure it against the S&P, use that as a benchmark, buy it, let it rally up, let it come back down. Sell, let it come back down, make a lot of money on this. So I like that. I am bullish on this stock so far. So far, it's a buy from me, not me personally. I don't buy individual stocks, but if I was, it's a buy from me. Okay. If you want the chart information, join Sensei on Sunday. I will give you the link at the end of the video. He will give you all the buy zone, sell zone, support levels on his show. All members can have that for free. Let's look at some ratings here. No one's talking about it really, doing any analysis, Wall Street or Quant. They're not even covering that. This is my Seeking Alpha. Seeking Alpha, all my members can get a free trial and a discount from this. Let me give that link to you in the chat as well. There it is, and also it'll be below the video as well if you want any of these links. Over there, it's from Seeking Alpha Analyst. It's a buy, and no surprise there. But remember, analysts on Seeking Alpha aren't necessarily financial experts. They're not necessarily financial advisors. I am an analyst on Seeking Alpha because I have an online presence and I do reviews. I can submit and they post my reviews as well. But it's only my opinion. Doesn't mean it's a fact. Doesn't mean, anything's going to happen. But nevertheless, we have got a buy. Let's look at some latest news around MPOX. It's important. Emergent stock jumps as FDA clears smallpox vaccine for people at high risk of MPOX. This is Emergent Biosolutions. Of course, Bavarian Nordic isn't the only company doing this. And using my Alpha Spread technology software, you can compare the balance sheets of all of those. And if you use my software, you can click on the competition and have a look and see how it compares. But we'll have a look at this, give you an idea of where stocks are going. Emergent Biosolutions shares jumped 23% pre-market on Friday as the US Food and Drug Administration, FDA, approved expanded use of the company's ACAM2000 smallpox vaccine to include people at high risk for MPOX infection. Earlier this month, the World Health Organization declared the current outbreak of MPOX, formerly known as monkeypox in Africa, a public health emergency of international concern. A single dose like vaccine administered percutaneously first gained FDA approval in 2007 for the prevention of smallpox disease in individuals determined to be at high risk of smallpox infection. I'm not going to go onto any more of that one. This review would be like 2 hours long if I did. Spain and Germany to donate MPOX vaccine doses to Africa. And this is BVNRY, the stock that we are talking about. So let's look at that. It's important. Spain and Germany have joined global efforts to fight the ongoing MPOX outbreak in Africa, donating a combined total of 600,000 vaccine doses amid concerns over a deadlier form of the virus spreading globally. Spain has agreed to donate 500,000 MPOX vaccine doses, or 20% of its stockpile, the country's health minister said in a statement on Tuesday. Let's see. So you can see now the urgency for this. Let me see if there's any direct link. There we go. With about 117,000 doses of Ginois, I hope I pronounced that correctly, the FDA approved MPOX vaccine from Danish biotech Bavarian Nordic, our stock here, BVNRY. The West European country said it would keep a minimum amount of the stock to vaccinate individuals such as traveling officials, other vaccine makers with MPOX products, including Emergent Biosolutions. The donations coincide with recently detected MPOX cases linked to the clade 1b variant in Sweden and Thailand. The World Health Organization has already declared the current MPOX outbreak a global public health emergency. Its second such declaration. There is that. I would perhaps like to have a quick look at this. This is just out. Let's have a look. This is the full transcript. We don't want to read through the transcript. Let's have a quick look. Okay, I'm going to read the opening statement from the CEO on their recent report that's just happened. So this is coming from the CEO. We had an exceptionally strong performance in the second quarter and in the first half of this year. And importantly, that is due to a strong performance across both parts of our business, both the travel health and public preparedness. In addition to that, I'm delighted to report that we're seeing strong progress in other areas of the business that will add to future growth, such as the launch of chikungunya, I apologize if I've mispronounced that, next year, and the nearing completion of the tech transfer of some of the assets we purchased back in 2020. So we've seen very strong demand for our travel health business with a 15% year-on-year growth that is driven strongly by the rabies business, but we'll come back to more of that on upcoming slides. This is a reading from the CEO. We're on track to complete the tech transfer to both the rabies and TBE vaccines, and on chikungunya, we are advancing slightly ahead of our planned schedule in that we have made the submissions to the registry authorities in both the EU and FDA, where we're now under a priority review status. Just very quickly, before I move on to some more numbers, on smallpox and MPOX, we're advancing both on freeze-dried contract that we have with the US. We've submitted for approval, which is an important milestone for that whole program in terms of life cycle management. We're progressing on a number of fronts on including effectiveness date from 22-23 MPOX outbreak. Also, hopefully expanding the indications, including adolescents, and through collaboration with the CEPI, soon to be initiating a study in children in Africa. I could go on, of course, but we have to move on. Otherwise, as I say, the review would be hours and hours long. Bavarian, we've covered that already. Oh, here we go. I'll just bring this to you. This has got some news recently out as well. Bavarian Nordic specializes in vaccine for infectious diseases and immunology therapies. We've talked about that already. Bavarian Nordic's revenue guidance is between 710 million and 750 million, influenced by fluctuating public health demands. Bavarian Nordic offers a cautious buy opportunity with risks tied to uncertain future demands, of course, from its vaccine. All right, now then, I want to share this with you. This was only out literally 2 days ago. Let me zoom in and share this latest news from the company. Bavarian Nordic receives approval of smallpox and MPOX vaccine in Singapore. We had a guest on this morning, Peng, from Singapore. Bavarian Nordic announced today that Singapore's Medicines Regulatory Authority, Health Sciences Authority, HSA, has approved Gyneos for prevention of smallpox, MPOX disease in adults 18 years of age and older, determined to be at high risk for smallpox and or MPOX infection. That's great news, of course, for the company. Right, so let's just wrap up this review. Obviously, the business has a great balance sheet, has a good cash position. Obviously, now this is in the news. This is current. They've been approved. Things are looking good for the business. It does seem to be a very well-managed business. It doesn't seem to be getting much attention at the moment online. There's very little news on it. I'm sure I will rank number one for this stock. There's no short interest because it's not getting the attention. I would say it's a buy. I would say even without MPOX, this business is doing well. I would suggest if you were buying this stock, you can allocate, say, $1,000 if you were doing that, and maybe look for the first little dip opportunity. Maybe we're there now. After its original pump it had. Buy on the dip. It seems to ride along the S&P, which is great. It's a good benchmark. And buy when it sits on the level of the S&P. You can use my software to determine that. As it pops up, you get a 20-30%, take a profit, let it drop back down to sit just above the S&P. Over time, for the last 9 years, it's outperformed the S&P. With all those peaks and troughs, but never going below the S&P. So it's a really nice trading stock. Take a 20-30% pop above the S&P, let it fall back down to sit on the S&P again and do it again. I think this is a potential buy from me. I'll keep following this stock. If you want me to cover earnings, $5 super chat, I'll cover the earnings for this stock. And if you give me more news in Discord, I will update the news as it comes out. Click above my head for all the links down below in the description. Over here, I'll put my full alpha spread playlist. Down here, I shall put the playlist for Bavarian Nordic. It's got its own playlist, and we can update you with information as we go. There we go. Thank you very much indeed. That was requested by one of our members from Denmark. No surprise, actually, was it? Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.